Episode is brought to you by GameFound. Create a free pledge manager for your project.
Hey everybody, welcome to Crowdsurfing. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Mike Delisio. Hello everybody.
Z is unfortunately not be able to with us today because of appointments and other things like that, but I will pick a random Kickstarter and say it's generic fantasy in his honor.
Yes.
So if you've never been in one of these shows before, we're taking a look at different Kickstarter projects that end in the next 2 weeks. Here's the deal. Every week we do this. Somebody says you missed such and such a game. Mention that in the comments near the end when we're doing our pick of the week.
Right.
And I'll quick see if it has to be ending in the next 14 days, or then we'll get it in the next one of these that we do. With that being said, let's get started and take a look here.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Alrighty, so the first thing we're taking a look at here is a Tantrum House Season 7 board game meeting. I didn't know they were in Season 7. Tantrum House is, you know, different groups have, like, monikers about them, and for sure I would say Tantrum House is the nicest group of people on the internet.
They
I feel
really are super pleasant people, very positive.
So it's your typical back them, support them, get promos. Now they don't have a ton of promos, but there are some pretty neat ones here.
Yeah.
There was one I want that Toy Story promo. I do want to know what's happening to Kevin in this Hell the Last Saga thing.
That's not a good look.
I feel like he's not going to survive that one there.
No, it's not looking good for him.
But there's a lot. Okay, I must have missed this. There's more promos here than when I looked at it last. They must have added some during the course of the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, if you want to get these things, there you go. Back them. They're a wonderful group of folks. All right, now this one, I need help. I am death now.
Then you do need help. You need a lot of help.
I want to know where the success of this is coming from. Not that it might be a great game. It's definitely a silly game here. You got Hedwig, he's junior death. You got to kill people on your test subjects list. Everyone has a pain tolerance. Okay, there's different funny things. Okay, I get it. You are death now. But this, as far as it based on a web comic or something, because that's usually what these are.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of was I went to the very bottom here and it was promoted by Jalop, and they were like, we promote millions of dollars, but I don't normally believe in those things, but maybe in this case it worked.
It might be. I mean, it's the pitch is something I think could appeal to a lot of people. This idea of kind of a lighthearted, playing as the Grim Reaper. I'm a little. The test subject, I think it's a delicate line to balance of cutesy versus these are the people that I have to kill. You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't like the theme at all.
I mean, it's a little
I don't want to go.
rough.
I mean, it's one thing when you're killing monsters. When you're killing cute people, like literally you're killing them.
Right.
Of course, that's how Gloom worked too.
True, but that just had that kind of gothic, you know what I mean? For it worked a little bit more. Again, I'm not trying to make too strong of a statement here, but I was a little bit taken aback when I saw how cutesy they made the people that are basically your victims. So, yeah, I don't know. I am a little surprised because it says only 2 created too. So I mean, it's not like there's a huge.
I'm looking in the chat. No one else is like giving me a reason why. I mean, again, I feel like this is weird that. Because, like, someone said, well, it's like Exploding Kittens. But Exploding Kittens was based on a very popular webcomic, Oatmeal.
Right.
Was it Oatmeal or something about Oatmeal?
Yeah, the Oatmeal, yeah.
Yeah, the Oatmeal. So that was very popular, and that brought people in, right?
Right.
So
I will say one thing. This is a game that you can look at this for about 2 minutes and you know exactly what this game is.
Sure.
I think that's a big part of it. It's like, I already know how to play the game right now. You know what I mean?
So maybe it's pick of the week. We'll find out. All right. The next one. Ooh, Kemet, Blood and Sand. Yeah. Okay, so we knew this was coming for a long time. Right. I mean, we knew this because last year Sam kept whispering. He's like, they're going to come out with a new version of Kemet, but don't tell anybody. We're like, all right, great. I'll worry about that. It's not like Kemet disappeared.
Right.
And this is interesting because it doesn't look like it's too much of an overhaul of the system.
Right.
It says, like, for example, here, what's different? simplified setup, a new game board with 2 types of ports. You know, they have some changes, a new end to the game, a simplified deck. Okay, so they're simplifying it a bit.
Right.
I would like to say this is praises for the gods at Kemet, and they have Dice Star Seal of Excellence there. I'm just praising Kemet. I don't have any particular thoughts towards the gods of Kemet. But Kemet was always fun for me. It is a guys, you know, soldiers on a map, and you have these giant monsters. The new version looks really cool.
Yeah.
There was some problems. I know some people didn't like the way the Sphinx was sculpted, but they just announced in an update that they're changing that. They have a Cthulhu one, which has definitely been controversial.
Yeah, have you heard about the change for that?
They just changed how the models looked, right?
Well, no. They actually completely got rid of the Cthulhu as the theme of the expansion. And now what they're doing is it's going to be another Egyptian theme with that expansion, but you can get Cthulhu and Nyarlathotep, or however you want to pronounce that, as an add-on for like $7. So they're trying.
So if you don't want Cthulhu, you're fine.
Exactly.
But if you do want Cthulhu, more money for Medigo.
Exactly, and you get 2 sculpts and a couple of tiles. So they're trying to say that they're responding to the feedback in the.
I like
comments,
the new pyramids here a lot.
The pyramids are cool.
I mean, it was a neat concept in the original one. Hey, it's a die.
Right. Yeah,
but this looks cooler because you're seeing your pyramid get built. The thing I was excited about the Cthulhu expansion was that it brought in new tiles and you could switch them out.
They still have that. They're just going to now be with an Egyptian theme. And it is mentioned here somewhere, I believe, at least in an update. But they like I said, they kept just those 2 Cthulhu tiles in case you really were excited. Because some people did join the campaign when that was announced, and so I think they were trying to keep that too. To me, the big thing, it says here at the bottom, reskin of the expansion. If they're actually making it a stretch goal, but I'm sure they'll hit it.
Sure, someone said here in the chat that, hey, it's Egyptian gods only, that's the point. I get it, but I personally don't think it's that much of a stretch to put Cthulhu in the mythos, because in Cthulhu games, the Fantasy Flight ones normally, there's always something going on with Egypt.
Yeah.
There's always an Egyptian thingamabob going on.
I think Nyarlathotep is kind of an Egyptian,
Maybe they should have brought him in then instead of Cthulhu, but then he doesn't bring in the Kaching.
That's right.
Cthulhu's like, I'm sure that when all the elder gods get together, and they're like, we're tired of people saying Cthulhu, how come no one ever says my name? Because no one can pronounce it. All right. Sorry. Yeah, someone here in the comments mentions, should I replace my Kemet with this or not? I don't know. It's not like I thought Kemet was even remotely a bad game.
No. What I would say is maybe get the, I think for free, PDF of the 1.5 rules that you can play with the original game.
That's true.
Because I think that a lot of the problems people had with the base game of Kemet was addressed in those 1.5 rules, which this basically builds off of that.
I am tired of Cthulhu being in games. In fact, someone said we were talking about this earlier, a law that the bigger a game gets. However, this is one of the few times where I would play with Cthulhu. I would just too,
actually. I would too.
But that being said, either way, if you've never played Kemet before, back this. It's an amazing game.
It is.
Love this. It's interesting. This is Madigo's first Kickstarter.
Is that right?
Well, they're kind of brother companies with Colossal, so a lot of things have been going through Colossal. But all right. Next up, we have Dawnshade. We actually talked about Dawnshade in the past. This one here, I don't know. Well, I should say I don't know. I'm not a fan of hexagonal boxes. All right. But the rest of the components look very well done. They definitely look like they were inspired by chip theory. There's no question here. They got the mats, they got the poker chips, but someone who played both said the games are not alike really other than that, other than the fact that they have poker chips and dice like that. Which I guess is reasonable. If more people were used, I'm okay if all games start using these, what's the poly... Neoprene mats.
Yeah.
And that could be in every game on Earth, and I would be happy.
I'm happy with it, too. The only issue I hear people talking about is obviously it's going to adjust the cost. I mean, I think that will change more of it. Also, they did, you brought up the box. There is, they mentioned here that there is a square box option that's there. But my thing is that whether this is too close to the chip theory model or not, I do think that anytime you come out with a game that has neoprene and poker chips, you know that you're wading into that territory. I mean,
sure,
there's just
but
no two
maybe
ways
that's just
about
going to
it.
go away as time goes by.
Right.
Now, are they using? Yep, they're using the non-weighted chips as hit points.
Yeah,
that
that's
starts
also
towing into the territory, I
Right.
suppose. And
Right.
the look's similar, but
There is a similar look,
I don't know.
too.
Either
Yeah.
way, I think it looks good. It looks fun. It doesn't look generic. So there's that. You know, I can't
be
shout my
careful
generic.
now. Be careful.
I can't shout my generic fantasy thing here
Right.
on this one.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know. I do think that it looks very similar to Chip Theory, but that's okay. They're allowed.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm just saying,
for allowing them.
I'm just saying.
All right.
You're gonna. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Bullet with a heart.
Bullet heart.
Drives me nuts. I was told it's just Bullet.
Right.
A shoot 'em up puzzle action board game from level 99. I did not actually take a look to see if this is set in the same universe that all their other stuff's set in. There are 8 heroines, and they changed the game. Master paper, gravity, guns, music, and more. Oh, I want to be the music master. Paper's kind of cool, though. I read a really cool book called The Paper Magician, where they control paper, and there's a lot of cool things you can do with paper. So it looks like it almost looks like a puzzle app type game.
I think that's exactly what they're going for. It's a super light 15-minute puzzle game. I think there may even
with a
be
million ways to play, because that's all level 99 does.
Right.
Level 99, the 99 stands for a number of characters in the box.
It may even
Not
be
really, but-
a. I don't know if there's a real-time element or a everyone playing at the same time. I can't think of the word. Simultaneous play. I'm not sure, but this went from something I really wasn't at all interested in, and I've heard a few people that have played it. Either on maybe Tabletop Simulator or something like that seem to be enjoying the puzzly aspect of it. So I don't know. I don't love the look. I'm not going to lie. This just is an aesthetic that I don't particularly enjoy.
I'm not a huge fan of this aesthetic normally, but at least these are like normal girls here,
Sure,
and not
sure.
like 6 girls all wearing miniskirts, like
Right,
Sailor
right.
Moon style, whatever.
Yeah,
here
yeah.
at least I can tell them apart.
That is true. Yeah, they don't seem to be leaning into that, over the top stuff as much. Yeah, I would certainly be interested in trying it, and I do like the fact that it seems to be kind of a quick, fast-paced game. It does say play in real time. That's also.
I'm okay with real time.
I don't love real time.
I'll whoop you in it.
I'm
what it
sure
is.
you will. I just don't like real time very much.
Yeah, I'm okay with this because I feel like the characters are distinct from each other. That's a
Yeah.
big deal to me.
Yeah.
All right. What's next? Stop the train. Stop that train. Stop the... Oh, that's a pigeon. Okay, straight up. It says a thrilling board game adventure on a runaway train headed for Paris. Can you identify the saboteur in your midst and avert disaster? Maybe just me, but they have me with that line. That's a board game theme that's not done very often.
It's
that
really
sounds
not.
cool.
And also that kind of that first image is really striking as well. So
Yeah, because they say social deduction, and I was like, oh, I don't know, but because there's a lot of social deduction games.
Right.
But then when I looked at this looks really interesting.
it does, but it's a weird player count, 4 to 6.
Yeah, that's very limiting.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, if a social deduction game doesn't work with less than 4, you shouldn't say it
That's
does.
very true. No, I'd much would prefer that. Yeah, but you're right. It's like you've got train pieces, and nothing about this looks like a social deduction game at all.
No, I would not have guessed social deduction game from the art / pieces at all. But I'm telling you, I'm just hoping this one's good.
I am
because
too.
I like the art.
Yep.
I like the way these characters look like they're real people.
Correct.
But they did it in a way where I don't feel like they went out and found people to pose.
Right. No, I agree. It doesn't look like they're friends. Yeah.
No, they look like they're actors from a movie, right? That these people showed up in.
That's right.
So I hope this one's good. It's cool.
I do too. It's a neat idea. I mean, it's a neat idea.
It feels original, and I'm really pleased about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know a lot of people who have been talking about it too much, but this is one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. When's it going to come out? When are we going to play it?
What does it say? When is the...
December.
Oh, that's not too long away.
About March then next year.
Correct.
All right. I don't know if y'all heard of this next one. Small indie publisher,
Yep.
Awakened Realms, doing Nemesis Lockdown.
Man, this might hit 5 while we're on air.
I don't think so.
Let's make it happen, people.
But this looks like it's set on making 6, 7, 8 million.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny because we were talking about this and we were like, well, not Frosthaven. Well, first of all,
what is?
Not what is, but secondly, where this is at already, it's one of the biggest Kickstarters of all time.
It really is.
It's the follow-up to Nemesis, and in fact, we did a live playthrough of this, which was extremely fun. We don't want to spoil it, but really fun ending to that. You can go back and watch that.
That was good.
Of course, Awakened Realms makes, in my opinion, some of the best miniatures that are out there. And if you can afford it, get the Sun Drop because they look extremely cool.
They did just release the Sun Drop pricing within the last few days.
Oh, they did?
It is. It should be on this page here. So yeah.
So this is essentially, as far as I can tell, it's a very sideways step from Nemesis. Like there's a few changes. I mean, a lot of changes, but nothing you would say, oh, this is a whole new game. No, it's like a new scenario in the Nemesis world. This one's in a base rather than on a ship.
If you know how to play Nemesis, you could learn the differences probably in about 15 minutes.
Also, you can just get Nemesis through this Kickstarter.
You don't
have to get the new one.
No.
You can get either one. So it is definitely Aliens, the movie, in a box for sure. And I'll tell you what. If there's one thing I know about Awakened Realms is the estimated delivery here is February 2021. We were just joking about that. But you will... Well, that's the PC. It's September 2021. You'll get it in September 2021, probably.
Yeah.
They're really good. Now, they always do the split shipping.
Right, the two ways.
Which I'm actually a big fan of.
Yep.
Because you get the game, you play it for like a year, and then you get all the expansions, which is the way games were meant to be. Lords of Hellas, I got to play for a while, then the expansion showed up. Right. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, and at that point, you were ready to add all that other
Tainted
stuff.
Grail, ain't no way anyone's finishing that before the expansions show up. Although that's coming soon.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right, well, I mean, what more can we say about this? This is just doing extremely well. A lot going on in it.
Yeah, it's a game about experiences. You know, I will say that it's
the all-in is $226, but you get 2 huge boxes plus 3 expansions and a minute character pack.
Right, and that's the Nemesis all-in is $299. That's
I'm sorry, it's lock-in.
Yeah.
Oh, it's $299.
Because there you're adding core Nemesis and the expansions from the core Nemesis box too.
Does that include the add-ons? Does that include this Carnomorph?
Oh, no. See,
no, it does. It does.
Oh, does it add those? Okay.
Yeah.
It won't have probably the Sun Drop, and it probably won't have like the play mats and stuff like that. So yeah, you could go big.
It's a lot, right?
You could go big.
Oh, how many people you think did the all-in pledge here?
I bet a lot.
No way. That's a Nemesis gameplay all-in, $299, and it is 6,600.
Wow. I'm telling you, this game you know how some games will have a huge hype and then they die down, you know? This has done the exact opposite. This game has become more hyped the longer it's been out.
We knew this because at our booth at Essen and other cons, people come up and like, where's the Nemesis promo? We're like, oh, we brought like 50. We thought that would be enough.
We could have brought 500.
We really could have.
Yeah.
It's going. So that's exciting. I will say this, though. Keep this in mind when you sit there and go, it's not fair. These games are priced too high. No one wants it. No, people do want them.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's definitely a market for smaller games.
Sure.
Tiny Epic, Game One Games shows that. But I think there's room on both extremes.
Yeah, sure.
Alrighty. Let's see here. Storm Dragons Deluxe with a 6-player expansion relaunch. A trick-taking full of dragony goodness. There wasn't as many games this week, so
right.
I'm taking a look at some smaller games because I just want to.
Hey, and they funded, though. You know, you gotta. They are already funded. So.
I also tended to like dragons for whatever reason, and I did not hate the artwork on this one, so I pulled it up.
You didn't? I'm not a huge fan of
No,
the
I don't
artwork.
like this. I don't like these scoring tokens. Those are bleh.
Yeah,
but
there's something.
I don't think the artwork here, oh, it does say prototype. Maybe they're stealing artwork. Like this dragon sitting here looking at you, like with his face down there.
He's got something
I wish they showed
on.
bigger pictures of the art.
Yeah.
Here's some. I like that art. I also like I think the card design is pretty clean.
Yeah,
for a
the
new
card
company.
design I don't seem to have a real issue with. I'm not a huge fan of the art, but it's not. Look, hey, it's a. I will say it's a consistent aesthetic, right? It doesn't look like 5 or 6 different people tried to put something together, so I will say that. I'm trying to find pleasant things to say. It doesn't do a lot for me.
Well, it's also trick-taking, and I love trick-taking.
I do like trick-taking, yeah.
I like trick-taking a lot. All right. Relicblade, Storms of Curl. This is a 2-player battle set. This is a tactical miniature game, which is a little bit out of both of our wheelhouses, I think.
Yes, it is.
But it's still in this thing, and I'm still glad that these sort of things exist. I looked at this, and it looks like a fantasy-style game. This art here looks very similar to Tainted Grail
It does,
art to some degree.
Yeah, it really does.
If you had shown me those cards and I glanced at them, I would think they were from Tainted Grail.
Yeah. I think it's interesting they talk about their metal minis, but they're making a point of saying that they're trying to make them as beginner-friendly as possible.
I do agree on that, right? So the metal mini is beginner-friendly as possible, except plastic is even more friendly when it all comes in one piece. But I get it.
Yeah.
So yes, when I used to play Warhammer 40K, the miniatures that came in metal and they had like 2 pieces put on them were so much better than the kit where there was like 18 things.
Right.
But why are they doing them in metal? Because it's when you do small print runs, it's cheaper to do them this way.
Yeah, it's probably the only way.
The molding is cheaper.
It's probably the only way to actually viably do it. I will say the models I think look great.
Sure.
I'm not a minis guy necessarily in the sense that I don't paint them, but I mean when you see a professional paint job on them, they look really good. So yeah, I don't know. This doesn't really appeal to me much, but that's just mostly because this style of game doesn't
I will say
appeal to me as much.
I really like how that card looks, though. That card does not look like your typical miniature card. Maybe it's the font they're using.
It could be,
that font is sharp. Oh, not for the small print, but for the dagger and caltrops and razor sharp. It's sharp. It just looks, that art too, that looks good.
It's
Although,
razor sharp.
Answer me this. Riddle me this, watchers. Why do so many companies use a different pose for the artwork than they do for the miniature? It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Now, maybe the art was done first, and then but shouldn't there be like some communication?
You would
or
think.
do people like that? Do they like, ooh, I get to see the guy? But for me, I can't tell you how many times I play these games, I'm like, oh, where's my character? And you're looking through a pile of miniatures, and I'm like, okay, this one's holding a raven, and this is the only character with a raven, so this must be the same.
You're right, though, and it's not only that character. If you scroll down, they're all different. Like, that's not the same pose. The next one's not the same pose.
Well, that one I would at least be able to get. But like this Wild Elf Witch, maybe I wouldn't know that one right away.
Yeah.
Destroyer Pig, well, that one's kind of obvious. maybe this one. Well, the Dark Prophet, though, he looks exactly the same.
He does.
So does this one. It is a minor thing.
Yeah, it is.
But right. Man, I'm telling you, I do like this art. And I also feel like this is not generic fantasy, as I would often say.
And it looks to be, from what I can tell, like kind of like a passion project. And I don't know, there's something about that where it's one person's vision that I always have a kind of a soft spot for.
All right, a couple more before we take our mid-time break. Roll and play. Now, I know we're not an RPG show at all, but I was enamored with how this was. So this is for role-playing games for someone like me. Because this is a nice book, really well graphic design.
Yeah, it looks really good.
And it's just like, hey, I need some ideas real quick, and it's great. I like this, for example, in here. Have a drink at I got a die here. Is there a die in this? Let me see if I can roll this sucker up. Oh, there's no dice.
If we don't have a die within our arm's reach,
I will
we're
walk
doing
over there
wrong.
and get a die.
We're clearly doing
in front of the
something
camera.
wrong. If on the dice tower we don't have a die at arm's reach at all times.
I know, I'm ashamed as much as anyone else. All right, let me get a tavern here.
All
this
right.
is
Here, what am I drinking here?
Have a drink at the Nestled Violin.
I'm in the Nestled Violin. I'm feeling pretty good about it. It's a lovely place here.
That's the tavern.
Okay.
And then later on, we're going to stay at the Shovel, the Shovel and Tankard.
I'll tell you what, the Shovel and Tankard.
That sounds like they're going to rob you.
Yeah. They didn't get a great Yelp review, is all I'm saying. I was trying to
And
be
then they
polite,
have
but
a disgusting appearance, and their pricing is standard. Like I can just say, okay, it's usually standard, and their bar is empty. Okay?
Wow. Okay.
And the barkeep is known to be a rude, formal human. All right, fine. So I can roll that stuff there. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know. I just like this sort of thing. It's a lot of cool content. I'm a big fan of this because you can use it in all kinds of things. And the look of it is friendly to me.
Yeah, I think it's even a way that you could come up not even in the middle of a campaign. I think it's a way it could give you ideas for a campaign if you're a DM. You know what I mean? It's a neat idea.
How many pages is it? 84-page book. And how much is it? The ebook is only 9.
Yeah, that's not
14 pounds? That's not bad at all,
right? That's what, $18? I think.
I don't know this money. All right, one last game before we take a break. Attacktica.
Yeah.
Okay, I put this on here because I just thought it was like a unique project. And BackerKit is predicting that this one will trend upwards at the very end.
Yeah.
This looks like a guy who is, hey, he has this game, he wants to show it off to the world with little metal pirate ships, and he has a bunch of stretch goals.
Look, I feel bad for saying what my gut reaction is to this, because it looks like it's a guy who was creating a game for his son, which is a great, you know what I mean? What a heartwarming.
Sure, but I didn't put this on here to make fun because we could do projects to make fun of people all day long.
But that's not what it's about.
Sometimes I do put them on here to make fun of them. But in this case, I just think it's interesting to see this because this looks like something I might have seen when I first was on the convention circuit. And I could see this guy showing up at cons with his own booth, and he really pushed this game. And I bet in 5 years from now, he's still pushing this game.
It's like a $200 game too. That's the other issue, is that I'm sure
I think it's because
he's
he's doing
piece.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just the
pitch. Early bird's 150. It's
I mean, just the pitch of it's a cross between what did he say? Battleship and chess. I mean, I don't know. Anytime you have this, it's these two games put together. I
think that name is bad, Attacktica.
It's really not good, no. But, hey, look, I wish him the best. I mean, I would love to see him be successful. It's not necessarily something I'm terribly interested in, but maybe there's a market for it out there, and I'm all for people wanting to bring, a passion project to life.
It's just interesting. I think it's good to see that stuff like this exists, if anything else.
And this is what Kickstarter... Look, this really is what Kickstarter is about, isn't it? I mean, that's what it's there for, is to have people, hey, I've got an idea. I can't afford to do it without your help.
Sure, and if it doesn't succeed, then at that point you can say, well, maybe I should do something else.
Right.
It's better than the back in the days when people would borrow and put their house up on mortgage.
Oh, you're not kidding.
Hey, there's still more cool games to come, though. We're going to jump to some contributors, and then we'll be back.
This week's Spotlight is brought to you by Hunters Entertainment, developers of Altered Carbon and Icarus: How Great Civilizations Fall. Alice is Missing is a silent role-playing game about the disappearance of Alice Briarwood, a high school junior in the small town of Silent Falls. Alice is Missing is a unique kind of role-playing game in which players only communicate using their phones, sending text messages to each other as they unearth clues about what happened to Alice. Hauntingly beautiful, deeply personal, and highly innovative, Alice is Missing puts a strong focus on the emotional engagement between players, immersing them in a tense, dramatic mystery that unfolds organically through the text messages they send to one another. The integration of texting into the gameplay unlocks a brand new way to play RPGs that is unlike anything you've ever experienced before. It's personal, immersive, and perfect for remote play, powered by a 90-minute timer featuring a licensed soundtrack and simple but unique card mechanics. Gives everyone equal footing in telling the story. The game runs without a GM or game master and instead empowers the players to create the story together. By putting its lens on the relationships, tension, and story arcs between the characters that are looking for Alice. The game challenges players to explore aspects of emotional intimacy and personal connections in an RPG like none other. For more information, please go check out the campaign, which is now on Kickstarter.
Hey folks, and welcome to FOMO, the segment where I take a look at a game that's seeking crowdfunding right now. Maybe I have a fear of missing out on it. Maybe you do too. We'll go ahead and take a look together. And today I'm going to take a look at a game that's in a fantasy world, let's say. However, we're not going to be the heroes. We're not even going to be the villains. We're going to be the merchants. Today, I'm going to take a look at Merchants of the Dark Road. Merchants of the Dark Road is a thematic strategy game where players will take on the role of merchants, picking up heroes and completing contracts, all in search of fame and fortune. Each turn is divided into 4 phases. First, you have to plan your route by moving a die from your reserve, bumping up one of your currently locked die into your action pool. The die you bump will also determine an instant bonus for you. In the second phase, it's time to discover the city. The value of your action die moves your wagon along the road. Now in the third phase, it's time to ready your caravan. Each stop on the road allows you to access 2 of the districts. You will place your action die on one of them, take the associated action. If you happen to have an illuminated die as well at your disposal, you can access both districts and an additional building action potentially. In the final phase, you need to prepare for the future. It's time to rest. Remove your dice from the board and make way for the next player. Now the city is made up of 5 districts. The Great Bazaar is where you can purchase goods and even manipulate their value. The Queen's Commission is where you can find orders that need to be filled in the distant cities. Jurg's Excursion allows you to head out for the distant cities in a caravan that even your fellow merchants at the table can join in or visit the ruins of Yin in search of treasure, with a little help from the heroes. The Dark Market, who knows what goods, commissions, or even crown cards you might find here. And finally, the Ringway Inn, a place where heroes are always looking to buy goods and hitch a ride on your wagon. The game plays 7 rounds, and at the end of 7 rounds, players check their fame and prestige, and they receive victory points equal to the lower of the 2. In addition, they get any additional victory points earned through the game, and the player with the most victory points is the winner. Alright, so that is a brief overview of Merchants of the Dark Road. I do want to thank Elf Creek for sending over the prototype. I also know that Mark took a look at this game for a Dice Tower preview, and so he'll have talked about it in this episode either before or after me, and that happens. Sometimes we both get sent the same games. But I really dig this game. Now, a little history, I did actually play an early prototype of this game about a year ago. I believe it was at Origins last year, if memory serves, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And at the time, I really liked what I saw, but it was still rough around the edges, and I had a lot of feedback, and I'm happy to report, now that they've sent me this version, I am in love with it. This feels like Steffenfeld++, but also a highly thematic game. We're not the heroes, we're not the villains, we're the merchants. And it just feels merchanty. Is that a word? Merchanty? That's not a word. But no, honestly, I really did love this. This scratches so many itches for me. It's got a rondel. I love rondels. It's got market manipulation. I love that. Pick up and deliver. It's got exploration. It's got upgrades, engine building. This is a kitchen sink sort of game that doesn't feel like there's too much going on. Because the way it was designed in a way that you're making these small decisions for this turn, and you're making another decision for a future turn. So you're not having to grok a whole bunch of things all at once, but you do need to pay attention. You need to pay attention to what you're doing and what your opponents are doing. Because my favorite thing in this game actually was those excursions out to the distant cities. Because when you do those, your opponents can go with you. And so you do need to think about, maybe I'll wait until they do it and I'll tack on with them. Or maybe I'll wait and do it when no one else has anything else they can do. And I like the whole thing with the dark road and the shortcuts, and I didn't cover that in my overview, but you can make a decision in there. And you can go watch any other playthrough and see how that works. But honestly, this is a kitchen sink sort of game with so many different mechanisms that just gel together and then has gorgeous artwork. An additional bonus is the game comes out of the box with a solo mode for you solo players out there that I took for a spin, and I absolutely had a blast playing as well. So if Merchants of the Dark Road interests you, go ahead and check out their Kickstarter page. For me, this is an automatic FOMO. Again, Elf Creek nailed this one, and I look forward to seeing you folks next episode.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Dice Tower preview recap. Mark, we've got just a couple Kickstarter titles to look at this week, as well as some published games that we did some previews for. We'll just briefly touch on those, and the Kirby's will be here to talk about what they've been working on. All right, let's jump in. So first, let's quickly take a look at the 3 published titles. So Expansive Universe is a little 4X card game dominating the galaxy, as you'd expect, with different alien races, different powers, and so forth. And then Bicycle has given us 2 games to look at. One is the Alpha. You're running a pack of wolves trying to get the most food in the forest. And then we have Exchange, which is a little stock market game. Now, both of these bicycle games are straight up, I would say, entry-level gateway type games, and they're pretty effective at what they do. And out of the 2, Alpha is the one I preferred the most. All right, so before we jump to the Kickstarter games I looked at, let's give it over to the Kirby's.
In Seven Fortunes, you take on the role of a Greek champion vying for total victory. You will pick from a pool of 35 champions that range from mortals to monsters to even gods. Each round starts off with an interesting blackjack-style minigame called stacking. Build your wealth and buy legendary items along the way to make your path to victory unstoppable. Even if your opponent snatched up that item before you did, you can challenge them to a duel and take it for yourself. Seven Fortunes is a constant up and down game of shifting points from player to player until someone gets just the edge they need and claims victory. The first player to reach 150 victory points by way of relics, epics, glories, money, and hero points is, the winner.
Hi guys, and this week we are talking Seven Fortunes, a card battling game with this interesting blackjack style mini game.
Yes.
Where you're like betting for coins and hero points and stuff.
Yeah.
Really kind of a neat aspect.
The coins are called drachmas too.
Drachmas, yes.
That's awesome. It is also Greek mythology themed, and the artwork is absolutely gorgeous.
The art is fantastic.
Beautiful.
It's a very swingy game. It's another one of those, kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Machi Koro. Lots of high highs, low lows, very swingy. You can have 140 points, you need 150.
Right.
Have 140 points and you have like 60 of them taken away from you instantly.
You keep using my game as an example. I did so bad, okay? I was like 5 points from victory. In my turn, I lost like 40 points.
Yeah.
But go into it knowing that, if you love that kind of swinginess,
yeah, it's
super
fun. It's
fun.
just big sweeping moves back and forth.
Yeah.
You're trying to do some set collection too. And just lots of ways of scoring points. I like this one.
Yep. Also, we want to introduce you to our doggy. Oh, I'm using the camera, so things are not going to go great. Anyway, guys, if that sounds fun to you, you want to check it out, do it. Seven Fortunes by Alpha Wolf Games.
So, first up for me is Merchants of the Dark Road. After half a year of daylight, we must now prepare for the dark season. The roads will be treacherous, but they will still need to be braved by a select few in order to keep our cities thriving. In Merchants of the Dark Road, you are one of these brave merchants that travel the dangerous paths between cities. While the job is perilous, fame and fortune awaits. Discover the capital city where most of your actions will take place using a Rondale action system. Collect and produce items to add to your caravan, or sell these items to local heroes and hire them to travel with you. Manipulate the market price of items, visit the Black Alley cellars, or delve a nearby dungeon for magical items to gain the potential for even more coin and notoriety. Gather lanterns to ease your passage along the dark roads as you guide your caravan to distant villages. Deliver goods and heroes to the best destinations and gain fame for your bravery. Balance the money you earn with the height of your fame, because your final score after a number of game rounds will reflect the lowest of these two values. After all, what's a good purse full of coin if the people don't sing songs about you? And what good is a song with an empty mug of ale? So this game has a lot going for it. Beautiful artwork, absolutely phenomenal. And the theme really comes through as you grab goods and you have to jam them into your caravan. It's very puzzly how you add them. You actually feel like you're physically trying to add them to your caravan and make that every ounce of that caravan work, which is really cool. You have different locations that you can visit. You can manipulate the market for selling those goods and so forth. Really well done, this game. And you just have to check it out, because it was one of those games that I'm like, I don't know. But then after playing it, I was like, wow, this is something special. And then we have Legends of Sigmund, the Cursed Forest. Legends of Sigmund is a miniatures war game and a collectible card game. Squads of creatures will fight under the leadership of heroes. While constructing your city, players recruit characters, take advantage of spells and relics, and use cunning tactics. Players will forge their own path to victory by creating unique battle decks and collections of miniatures. Thanks to a team of excellent artisans and sculptors, every miniature in the game has an original look and its own character. The Cursed Forest tells the story about the alliance of Wolvens and forest elves facing terrifying spider-like Akari elves. These two brand new forces are ready to join the battle, thus swelling the ranks of the existing factions. These two powers bring a lot of new creatures, new gameplay features and mechanics, as well as a brand new game mode. So this is a war skirmish type game, and it's got some pretty neat things. I really like the fact how you have to put enough points together in order to build your buildings, and those buildings are crucial to bringing your cards into play, like creatures out into the battlefield. And it's got all the trappings like line of sight and so forth, and you have to measure distance and things like that in doing battle. And it's got dice chucking for battles and such. I really like that, all the stats. But I don't do a lot of solo games, and the solo experience, the new game mode they have, is fantastic. It's you versus the Overlord, going on quests, trying to get through those quest cards and survive before the Overlord's rage becomes too much for you to handle. Really neat concept. They really did a nice job with this new game mode, and the solo play worked really, really well. Now, I don't have the preview done yet, but you must keep an eye out for Castle Panic Deluxe. This is a game I'm super excited about. I can't wait to show it to you. Amazing components, upgrades, all kinds of shiny for this game. It is absolutely beautiful. Up on Kickstarter right now. The preview's coming very soon. We're going to have it up the next day or two. So keep an eye open for that one. And so my pick of the week. This game totally took me by surprise. Merchants of the Dark Road. I absolutely loved it. Played it multiple times, and I can't wait for this to come and be a published game. It is just so much fun. Like I said before, beautiful artwork, totally engaging gameplay, and just the way all the different options work, and again, how you puzzly fit goods into your caravan. I just highly, highly recommend it. It was so fun. All right, folks, if you want any more information about any of the games mentioned here, please go check out our full previews. And if you want your game featured as a Dice Tower preview, please shoot me an email. All right, folks, until next time, we'll see you at the table.
At least that bat did not kill Mark. Okay, so we're looking at back to here. We're looking at Commands and Colors Tricorne Jacobite Rising. That's a long name, but I think it's just people will call it Jacobite Rising, right?
Yeah.
This is since our first standalone game for Commands and Colors Tricorne. So I'm assuming now that Commands and Colors Tricorne is a subset of games in the Commands and Colors. Either way, it's from Richard Borg.
Yeah, I was a little confused by that because, Command and Colors is the Ancients and Memoir 44, and there's been a number of games.
I'm starting to get confused as to what's what. That doesn't matter. I like Commands and Colors. So
sure.
I'm certainly interested in this. I'm starting to notice that these games are all fairly similar. There's some changes. I mean, Battlelore 2 was the biggest differential. This looks like GMT could have printed this one straight out, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't really know a whole lot about Compass Games. These guys did the American Revolution.
Okay.
Didn't I play that one? I can't remember. These kind of start boring together. But I like them. This has the stickers on the block thing.
Sure.
That works. Though you'll be stickering for a long time, just as a heads up. They take hours to do.
Yeah, because you want to make sure you get them on there well. I mean, if you do a horrible job, you can do them quickly, but then you're stuck with a horrible job. So.
All right, Upkeep. Now, at first I thought, are they naming a game here after another mechanism? I don't think so.
I don't think that's what they're getting at there, no.
I like the artwork on this one. That's a really cute cover. Upkeep here. This is from Game Time Again, a 30 to 60 minute game, and this is the kind I know we don't want to talk about just the Nemesis.
Right.
The Nemesis. The Nemesis, whatever. Nemesis of the world. I like looking at these small ones too.
Yeah.
And this one just looks like a fun little filler game.
And I like the theme too. I mean, you and I have both, among others, have talked about unique themes.
Raking up leaves, but yeah, I get it.
Well, sure, but it's not a theme you see a lot of. Although there have been more and more tree/leaf.
I will say there's a lot more mundane themes these days, and I don't mean mundane. I'm trying to think of a better word. Earthy. Like there's a game coming out about knitting, and then there's this one here, and I like that they're realistic games. They're the kind of games you'd be like, "Hey, Bob, would you like to play this and it doesn't scare them off because they don't like Dungeons and Dragons or something?
Right. No, I like the look of it. I think it has a really neat, clean aesthetic, different theme, small, relatively quick.
$20? No, that's New Zealand.
Yeah, it's actually
it's $40. So that's a little bit. Oh, that has all the stretch goals though.
Okay, yeah, $40 standard edition.
Or is that $40?
The deluxe edition is $60, so it's not cheap. If you're going to get the deluxe, I mean,
that's true. I still like the look of it, but I wonder if that's that. Well, we'll have to see later on if the value's there.
Right.
I don't know what the size of that box is.
That's another thing.
If that's a ticket the right size box, I'm in.
Sure.
If it's a box this small, it's hard to tell from the picture, actually.
It is. It says it has a discard box inside, so that points to it maybe being a bigger overall game box.
Is it a cooperative game?
I don't.
It says play with a group of friends.
Yeah.
Alone or cooperatively.
Yeah, alone or cooperatively. So yeah, it's a cooperative game.
Very little downtime. I'm all on board there.
I do like that.
All right, now a game that I'll be playing in a bit here. 18DO Dortmund. It's a board game in the tradition of the 18XX games. This one's doing very well.
Yes.
This is where 18XX has gone to live. The online and on Kickstarter, and I'm glad for that. It has a very strong following.
Yep.
You'll see some videos on our channel. Ambi reviews all the 1800s.
Yep.
I picked up a few of them. I think I'm going to stop soon. I don't know how many 18XX games we need in the Dice Tower library.
But this one has heat, sweat, and beer. So that's what differentiates it. Is I think they're trying to mix 18XX with like brass or other games that have brewing and stuff like that. So who knows? I think that they're trying to take. I think what they're trying to do is appeal to two different markets. You know, that maybe have some crossover. Because I guess,
but I don't think you're back in an 18XX game unless you like 18XX games.
That's probably
I don't think
true.
This brings in a lot of people who don't like them. I mean, these tiles and everything like here literally look the same as all the rest. And again, I want to be very clear. I'm not downing on that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's you like these or you don't.
Yeah, that's very true, I think. But again, this seems to have like the share and the stocks plus more on top of that.
$85 though.
Well, these are all usually small print run games.
That's true, and it's probably good quality. Though I backed some, like I said, some of these 18XX games, and they seem to be good. All right, Crash by Carl Chuddick. Now, I'll tell you what, folks, I would not have stopped on this one at all.
No.
It's only at $2,800 right now out of $4,000. But it's by Carl Chuddick, who has made some very popular games.
Yes.
And Glory to Rome is probably his most well-known game. So I don't know what the deal is. Now, part of it is probably this company.
The look, I think.
Chaka Games? Is that how you say it?
Chaka. The look doesn't scream high quality. It appears to be really a trick-taking game. Or maybe even a shedding game. It reminds me of almost like Red 7. It looks like it's going to be a small card game, like another Carl Chuddick game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but why is he not getting more buzz? They actually put his name in the title.
Prominently, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's... Yeah. I don't know. I do know
it
that
does sound like Uno more than... Okay,
right.
So it says here the first player plays a card. Then he picks someone else, and they have to play an equal or higher card. Then that person picks someone else, and you keep doing until someone crashes. That's not trick-taking, is it?
It says wins the trick. Play a card to a trick, wins the trick. Keeps the cards face up to him. So, I mean, they're sure...
That's not really a trick, though, I guess. I don't know.
I think they've done other Chuddick games, too, haven't they? Because they have, like, a Carl Chuddick pack.
Carl Chuddick's a designer. They actually don't mention any of his other games. I know, that's surprising.
Blood of the Northman. Is that him?
Who?
Carl Chuddick. Because it says Carl Chuddick pack. Get one copy of Crash card game and unlock stretch goals and one copy of Blood of the Northman board game. Right there.
It says his name underneath it.
Okay,
but your old eyes can't see that.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It says Carl Chuddick there. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever played Blood of the Northman.
Yeah. I do know that I am remarkably creeped out by the Horsehead Man. That there's nothing okay.
Where is that?
He's all over the place. Everywhere you look, it's the Horsehead Man.
Maybe I can't see him.
Yeah, I think you are. Keep going. You'll see him.
I see a rhino.
Keep going.
There's
going.
Wolverine.
There he is.
Oh yeah. No, that doesn't scare me.
No?
Nah.
No, I'm not a fan.
All right.
I'm not a fan of Mr. Ed.
Here's one of my favorite names for a Kickstarter ever. The Whatnot cabinet. That just makes me want to look at it. It also sounds like it's an antique store in Maine that you discovered, which is fine. Yep. I like this one a lot. I like the cover.
Yeah.
I like the graphic design.
Yep.
And then I realized, oh, it's Eduardo Baraf, and he makes games that look fantastic.
I'm telling you, at this point now, you know, there are certain companies that you're not necessarily saying, oh, this is going to be a good game or I'm going to like this game, but you're going to pay attention to it. Pencil First is a company that any game they put out is going to get my attention.
That's reasonable. I'll be frank, I haven't liked all their games, but I very rarely have hated them either.
Right.
And some of them I really enjoyed.
Yeah, exactly.
But their graphic design, holy cow, it's good.
Best Sobel does. I'm betting this is Best Sobel art. I didn't check that. But
yep.
Yeah.
That's Sobel's stunning tiny collectibles art.
Right. She's done a lot of their art, and I mean, they have an aesthetic, not only a visual aesthetic, but a gameplay aesthetic. You know, many of their games fit a particular weight. They fit a particular time. They usually are about 45 minutes to an hour. Some shorter, but usually about 45 minutes to an hour. This looks lovely to me. I mean, that's the word that comes to mind, is it looks lovely to me. I hope it's as good as it looks. I hope it kind of fits in that herbaceous sunset over water feel, because I'm all for more of those. I like those games, and I'd like to see more like them. So,
alrighty. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. All right. Partners. Now, this is an interesting one to me. Partners here. We actually have a copy here at the studio from a previous. This is not the first time this has been published. And Z Garcia has played this. He says he likes playing it with his mom. And that it says here 400,000 copies that have been sold in Denmark.
It's amazing.
And it's like one of their well-known games. Like, this is Partners, of course. Everyone knows Partners. And most people in here haven't. It looks very sorry mixed with Parcheesi to me.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, it doesn't look interesting to me at all, but at the same time, it's like one of those games where you're like, yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So
to me, the biggest limitation of this is that it's a 4-player only game.
Sure.
That's a little,
also, I would say the cover could be better.
Sure. The cover could be better, but because it just looks, to me, it looks dated. It looks very, you brought up a couple of games, Sorry and Parcheesi. To me, it also has a Trivial Pursuit vibe to the look to it.
It does. I don't think it has anything to do with Trivial Pursuit, but you're right, that board looks similar.
It really just has that feel of this is 1980s. So, hey, what to me is cool about it is the etymology of it, the fact that this is like a beloved game in a particular country.
Sure. Well, it ain't going to sell 400,000 copies here.
Right.
It's going to sell, how many people have backed this one?
344 so far.
Yeah, not quite the same. But hey, you get a little bit of culture from another country. That's good. All right, Die in the Dungeon. I'm not opposed to this name, actually.
No, I like the name, actually. It's an obvious pun,
I also want to get a model that looks like this Beholder.
Yeah.
That is a 20-sided die. So this actually makes me think here, right? So we've been doing dice guys. We have the dice different people, and then we did dice animals, and we did dice superheroes.
Yeah.
And we did dice superheroes. We're like, oh, well, you get sued. Like, no, they're generic superheroes. But I feel like if I made a dice Beholder, I might get a phone call from Wizards of the Coast.
You might.
They're really, for some reason, there's a few monsters they have that they're like really protective of. The Beholder, the
gelatinous cube.
The gelatinous cube.
Yep.
It's just always. I do like the artwork for this a lot.
Yeah, I do too. And I like the idea of it too. Now it's a 1 or 2 player only game, but it looks like it's going to be just this kind of dice rolling. I even like the acrylic standees because I'm usually not a huge fan of standees, but I like acrylic standees if you're going to have them. I'm pretty interested. I hadn't heard about this.
Yes.
What's that?
As long as they don't break.
That's true. Sure.
Let me look at some of the other games that these people have done. Wait. Fundamental games. There we go. 6 created. What else have they done? Deco Dice. Oof. Cosmetics Keep.
Eesh.
Maybe have you played these?
No, but no, they're not jumping.
Right, I don't know any of these other games. This one looks the best of all the games they got, hands down.
Like exponentially better, though. I mean,
it really does.
It really does.
Does it say who the designer is?
Let's see. I'm a little concerned. There's one thing in here that concerns me a little bit. It says multiplayer rules are provided in the rule book and may evolve even further based on the support and feedback in this Kickstarter. I don't want you to develop in the middle of a campaign. That should be done already. So
you can find us at Tabletop Simulator right now, I guess.
If it's a 1 and 2 player
and
game,
Tabletopia.
Keep it a 1 and 2 player game. But I don't know. There's some people.
It's getting good buzz. So I like the look, and I want that dice beholder.
Yeah.
All right. Dice Miner. It's a dice day, folks. I almost put some dice here, but since Z wasn't here, I decided not to taunt him.
You wouldn't get any fun out of it.
Okay, this I remember seeing. Where did I see this? I saw this before, and I just keep staring at this graphic.
I don't want to be interested in this, and I couldn't help it. I saw this and I'm
like this,
oh
though.
Man, this is cool.
It really is, because it looks like you can pull a die off the top, right? And then you open up more. It's like a dice drafting type thing.
Or you can get them off the side, but you have to pay for it. So the ones that are available to you are the ones that don't have any dice to the side of them, and those are available to you, but you can also get the ones to the side.
I just realized this is from Atlas. Now Atlas has such a checkered history,
really
right?
do.
They have some great games, don't get me wrong, but not always. And that's how I've heard of this, because I remember Atlas. They do say every gamer loves dice here, folks, and so that's true. So if you don't like dice, you're not a gamer.
That's right.
I'm kidding. I'm seriously kidding. But it's also true. I'm kidding. All right,
this does look good. It really does.
Yeah, I love the way the dice. And I just want this mountain thing. I don't care about this. It's a drafting dice game. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I have high hopes for this one. Please be good.
My guess is it's going to be super light. I mean, I don't think you have to be
okay
looking,
with it being light as long as it's good.
Right. I wouldn't be looking for like really deep strategy, but a quick dice drafting game. There's nothing wrong with that.
Alrighty. 4 more, folks. Here we go. City Builder Ancient World. I was immediately interested in this one based on the, not the name, because the name's boring, but the artwork. That looks very Tintin or comic-y, Astrid.
It almost looks like the Glory to Rome Cambridge, just that first part. I know a lot of people hate on that.
No. That was too cartoony, I think. Now the board itself, I was like, oh, that's not as interesting looking. But the art in the game itself has a very comic book. There's a specific style. I don't know what kind it is.
Yeah, I know what you're. The kind
like this again. I look at the board and I'm like, that's okay, right? That's okay. But I love the art.
Yeah. The designer did Summit, that mountain climbing game, and he also did that.
Got it.
He also did the Gorus Maximus trick-taking game.
This is Connor's game.
Yeah. I did like both of those games.
I'm sorry, my mind's going right. Connor is great.
Yeah.
He hugs a lot.
He's a very affectionate guy.
So I met him the very first time we played Summit together. And he played it on my live stream in Origins. It was bring any game you want and I'll look at it.
Yeah,
so he did.
I remember that.
All right, and then I reviewed it later on and I liked it. And we got to a convention and I was there and I saw him and I didn't remember who he was and he was like, "Don't move!" And I was like, "What?" And he jumped over the table, ran up and gave me this giant bear hug. And I was like, "Oh, I thought he was going to punch me." I was like, "It's finally happening. A publisher has broken." You know what this actually looks like now when I'm looking at it closer? It looks like that game that James Hudson published, Druid's, where you place the
Sorcerer City game.
Sorcerer City. It looks a lot like that, actually.
Yeah, and also now that I think about it, and I should have caught this right away, the tiles have that similar feel to the Summit tiles. They're those kind of diamond. They're squares, but you play them almost more as diamonds. You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
I think the orientation.
Yeah, Mike doesn't know how to turn a square sideways, but yeah, I get it.
The orientation is as a diamond, though, not as a square. That's all I'm getting at.
All right. Chai, High Tea, reprint and expansion. All right, well, Chai did extremely well the first time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who really like Chai. I'm not on that list.
You were one of them, yeah. You didn't really like it.
Here's the thing. The component quality is unbelievably good. I just found it to be too light for what... I thought the game was just too light. Like, photo-away light. Like, I didn't feel like I was making any... I was like, I obviously need these colors. I'll take them. I will obviously... I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I just was like,
super light. But I liked it more than you did. And I am a bit shallow as a gamer. I've said that I like things to look and feel good, and I can't help but be charmed by the components, and it made me probably like the game, even despite the lightness. Now, I am hoping that this high T adds, because I think what it adds is like somewhat player powers, and I think that would be cool to have just a little bit more there. I mean, just look at the new stuff. The new stuff looks as gorgeous as the last stuff, and I also like that they are celebrating kind of diversity of cultures that produce teas, and so you've got teas from Turkey and from India and other places. I don't know. I'm hoping it's going to add just a little bit of complexity to the game, because it does need it. It needs a little bit more complexity. But man, it looks good. And if you missed out on the deluxe version of Chai and you are interested, this would be a way to get it.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. It looks good, and lots of people really like this game. Hey everyone, there's a quick break here because while we were streaming, a technician in the area decided to disconnect the internet. So the internet went out. So we didn't want to not do our picks of the week. So we're adding this in here at the end. So this didn't go out live, but we wanted to tell you what the picks of the week are. So what was your pick of the week?
It was hard. There were a few that I was looking at. That Whatnot cabinet was really, really close to being up there. The Kemet was something I've always liked, but I'm going to go with one, even though it's popular. Still doesn't mean it shouldn't get picked. I'm going with Nemesis Lockdown.
The easy pick.
I know, but here, I really enjoyed our playthrough, and I'm one of those people that didn't back Nemesis the first time. I ended up getting a used copy on Board Game Geek, and I've played the heck out of it. I may even go all in. I'm not right now, but I may even replace my base box because my stuff's getting a little bit. But man, I really liked it. So that's my pick of the week, Nemesis Lockdown.
There's a lot of content there for sure. I also almost picked Kemet. Here's the thing. I like Kemet. I'm assuming the new version is going to be great. I mean, I should say I like Kemet. I love Kemet. It's just that I haven't felt a burning desire for there to be a new Kemet.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there is, that's fantastic. I'm excited about it. But my pick of the week is I'm just going to go with something that just looked really cool to me, and that's the Stop the Train.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know what it is about that one. I also looked at the Whatnot cabinet and the at the very end there.
Oh, the dice.
The dice games, right? There's a lot of cool little games. But that Stop That Train thing, it just looks interesting to me. It looks like something unique, something different, and that has me excited.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
So, yeah, that's my pick of the week. Alrighty, well, internet connections or not, you'll see this at some point. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to Mark and Robert and Randy and Ellen for helping out with this. And we'll talk about more Kickstarters in 2 weeks. Z wasn't here, but you'll see him tomorrow on Board Game Breakfast with me. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Mike Delisio. Take care.
Have fun gaming.